It's at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Hello out there. Cam Poitras, Jim Toth with you, as the Mr. Big Voice eloquently said beforehand. This hour brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road, and at washmethod.com. VIP text to win a VIP car wash for my good friends at Wash Method, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Boston Pizza for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. Jonathan Toews, we'll get into that. Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. This is great news and well-deserved for Jonathan Toews, of course. No doubt worthy of this nomination. But I want to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. And they advanced yesterday on 9 shots. And I'm going to say this, everybody. I'm going to say this once, okay? So get close to your radio. I like to say hug your radio. Get real close. Put your headphones on. Listen real.
Hug your Tampa Bay Lightning, because you never know how things can change.
You never know how things can change, exactly. And I'm going to be serious here. I refuse to acknowledge... And listen, Habs fans, listen to this more than anybody else. I'm really speaking to you here.
Pull over if you have to.
You have
Concentrate on this.
Concentrate.
This is helping you.
I'm telling you that I refuse to acknowledge that as a victory. And from here on out, I will be saying the Buffalo Sabres will be playing the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round. Because if you have 9 shots on goal, you ended up winning the game.
And Vasilevsky in net.
Yeah. So they did win. Officially, they won. I refuse to acknowledge the victory. So from here on out, you will hear me talk about the Buffalo Sabres versus the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round.
And we're going to do some leftovers today, but we will take one call and one call only.
Yeah.
And that is from Montreal Canadiens fan Ryan.
Yes. If you want to call Ryan, if you're listening.
If Ryan calls in, we will put him on the air, but nobody else.
And Ryan, come at me, bro. I refuse to acknowledge that they won. Even though they did, I refuse to acknowledge it. So I'm just making that clear. So when we get a bunch of text messages when I say, man, Tampa in that game against Buffalo, they just weren't fast enough. Buffalo just got that big goal. Or I'll say like, man, Tampa really took it to Buffalo. I'm going to get a bunch of text messages. They're going to say, Cam, that was Montreal. Tampa lost. I'm going to say, no, they didn't. Tampa won. They won Game 7. What are you talking about?
On Wednesday night, when the series opens in Buffalo and the puck drops, I'm going to be shocked. Where are the Lightning?
Yeah.
The Lightning won this series.
I'm giving this is your, if you're listening right now, this is your warning. I am not acknowledging the Montreal Canadiens as victors yesterday. It was a Game 7 win by Tampa Bay where they won 2-1.
And last night, got home, was away on the weekend, got home, had to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Got the little guy to bed, watched the end of the game, and I had a whole bunch of other stuff to do. And I did something I haven't done in years, Cam. And I sat down and I wrote a strongly worded letter.
You did.
To the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know if people know, but this is how Kelly Moore does it.
The chicken pecking, yeah.
I wasn't like I do. I was like Kelly Moore does it. And I sent it to the NHL and I said, we have to change this. That doesn't even matter if you score 8 goals. You cannot win a game unless you get 10 shots on net.
What?
You have to reach double figures in 3 periods or else the win is null and void.
How is that controversial? That should be enacted
It's embarrassing as a league you allow this to happen, that you get less than 10 shots over 3 periods and you win a game. We have to look at this. It's not good for anybody. Happy Monday, everybody.
Mike says, I love that Cam's favorite team won last night. Well, Tampa's not my favorite team.
Shots fired, Mike.
Tampa's not my favorite team.
One call and one call only at 780-6868. It's from Ryan. Everybody else, you got to wait till Friday. Maybe Wednesday. We'll see. But
yeah.
Anyways, I was very, very down last night.
Yeah, I was.
And then
I was really happy. Tampa won Game 7.
Yeah,
What's
and
to be
then after
upset
I
about?
wrote the letter and fired it off, much like Creed had a blog, but yet it was just a Word document.
From the
after
office.
I fired it off, I looked up and I'm like, is it 5-5? How is this possible?
Oh, in Tampa?
Between Avalanche and the Wild.
Yes.
And then I'm not kidding you, I went downstairs and came back up. And the spouse said, it's 7-5 now. And I'm like, what is going on? You can't get 10 shots on goal and win a game, and then these two teams have 13 goals right now? I don't know.
Terry texted the show. By the way, I forgot.
Might be getting too old for this.
Yeah, you might be. Terry is texting the show. I don't want to read his text here. Terry brought in donuts on Friday, and I didn't acknowledge him, and I'm sorry, Terry. I know you're listening right now. Thank you so much for donuts. He brought donuts in for the whole office to celebrate the Oilers being eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh, wow, Terry. Nice.
So thanks a lot, Terry. Appreciate that. Terry says, hi, Cam.
Rock glass Vince. Hope you had a good weekend.
Terry says, hi, Cam and Big Jim. Cam, you were hilarious. Okay, Tampa Bay won. They did. They won Game 7. LOL. Thanks, Terry. They did.
And I'm convinced of this, too. John Cooper, whom I adore, you know this as a coach, said the hockey gods have been on my side so many times in what this career I'm so fortunate to do. And last night they weren't, and then the Olympics they weren't. And I'm convinced that in order to win those cups, he sold his soul to the devil. And yesterday the devil came back a knocking. Like, he had to look up when there was 0 shots on net after 2 periods. And he's like, am I in Georgia? Because the devil's come down to get his due.
Yeah. This texter says, you're ridiculous. Are you not watching? Vasilevsky stole Game 6. There would have been no Game 7. Dobish stole Game 7. The last I checked, it's the most goals scored wins, not the most shots. Give your head a shake. Well, the team that had the most shots.
You give your head a shake. It's embarrassing 9 shots on goal and you win a game. You should outlaw it. Teams with 4 minutes to go up 2-1 should be like, we need 3 more shots or we're going to lose this game.
Texter, what are you talking about? Montreal had 9 shots and lost Game 7. Tampa won.
Yeah.
This texter says,
I'll be stunned if they're not in Buffalo Wednesday night.
Tampa's there. They're on their way. Bob says, I just turned the radio off because of Cam's comments. I hate the Habs too, but I hate ridiculousness.
Oh, Bob, that's too bad.
What's ridiculous about that? Tampa ended up won the series. It was an immaculate
Bob,
victory.
Go. We won't have any more fun. We promise.
So
no more fun on the show, Bob. Please come back.
And I'll read one more here. Paul says, Cam, quite unbelievable stance. Sure hope you're kidding. Quite unpatriotic as a Canadian, just saying. And Jim, sure hope you're not blindly supporting this, Paul. I don't know what, if
you play the tape backwards, I wasn't supporting it.
And you know what? Also, by me taking this stance, I hate Canada. Because
that's a strong take.
Unpatriotic.
Okay, now stop. Okay, now that's all the fun we're going to have today.
Okay, no more
Bob,
fun.
you can come back.
Okay. Jonathan Toews has been named as one of the 3 finalists for the 2025-26 Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. Yes. He's been nominated with Sabres defenseman Rasmus Dahlin and Avalanche forward Gabriel Landeskog. Again, I think 3 really, really great nominees here. I tend to believe that probably Jonathan Toews has the nod in this.
I don't.
You think that's going to be Landeskog or Dahlin?
I think it's Dahlin. Even though his wife with open heart surgery in another country, there's a lot of players that would have taken the year. And in reality, he's probably going to win the Norris. Gabriel Landeskog, I get, but we saw that story last year. Jonathan Toews, you know what? Maybe Toews does. Because that is dedication to the game, taking 2.5 years away. I don't know. My hockey mentality, Cam, is if it's Toews or Landeskog going through it, I get it. I think, in all honesty, and I might be wrong on this, I think it's honestly harder to play hockey when it's your spouse or somebody else in your family. We've seen that with Brock Besser. We've seen it with Josh Morrissey. You can fight through all the injuries you want. But when it's your dad who's got cancer or it's, your wife who's having open heart surgery, and to come back and play well and concentrate on that. And maybe that's just because the way I'm wired. Like when you talk about anything that could happen health-wise in your family, I'd much rather it be me than anybody else in my family. I have the hardest time dealing with it when some health issues occur to somebody else that I love as opposed to me.
I think you're bang on there, Jim. It's like, and this is, again, compared to that, this is very rudimentary, but like you just watching your kids do something like a sport.
Oh, yeah.
That's way more nerve-wracking than it's ever been for you whenever you've been participating. Like when they're watching and things are tight and stuff and you're on your edge of your seat. Just ask any hockey parent.
You're just sitting there going, oh, my God, he's got my speed.
Or you
he's
ask,
slow as hell.
Or you ask anybody, right? Who's Shannon? Who's the head coach of the 49ers and stuff like that? Well, he's the head coach now of the 49ers, but his dad was the head coach and won some Super Bowls. Shannon was his name? Mike Shannon?
I mean, the 49ers are the Habs to me, so
okay.
Come on.
But no, his son now.
Yes, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, so Jonathan Toews might
Mike Shanahan. Sorry,
Mike Shanahan. That's right. Yes, that's right.
And he says it was like coaching as a team. He says way worse watching his son do it. Way worse.
Oh yeah, no, and I get that, and I just mean like, but your spouse to go through this and to be in another country. And I know he went over there and took some leaves of absence, but when he came back, he never missed a beat, right?
Yeah.
And so I
think you're right, Jim.
I always equate it to what you're dealing with and what's weighing on your mind. Because if it's your injury, then you're going through. And, Jonathan Toews, I don't want to take anything away from. I think this journey he's been on, I can't imagine him. But Gabe Landeskog's on that too, right? There was points where they thought this career was over. I was stunned Landeskog's only 32. Like, that's. But so you're right. He has just as much as chance as anybody else. I just thought Dahlin might be the favorite because of that, but.
Yeah, I think you're right. 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. Send us a text. Also, call the Boston Pizza Jets and Noon hotline. Open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Brought to you by Boston Pizza. Coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15. Only at BP. Let's go to I got this email. And this one is from
the leftovers.
Yeah. So what we do on Mondays is we go back on Friday, Free For All Friday, of course, our most popular show of the week. We get a bunch of text messages. We get emails that kind of kick off the show. And we during the season, we're way too busy. But during the off season, we have a chance to go back because we rarely, if ever, get to the text line on Fridays. And we're able to go back and look at some of the old takes. And so we got some emails, we got some text messages here. And this one, we'll kick it off with your friendly neighborhood Buck. He says, Buck says, first thing I have to say is that I've enjoyed listening to you guys this year and look forward on a daily to listen to your video. Of course, probably watching us on YouTube, which you can too. We're on YouTube, face-to-face, Apple, Spotify, wherever. You can also find us on all the social media networks, and we got push out shorts and all that good stuff. So, but back to your email there, Buck says, you've given me another look at why it's so difficult to get players and things to this team, players and management does so well. If it ain't broken, don't fix it, but there is nothing saying you can't improve it. I believe if we at least got a good two-way winger that can play on the first or second line, I believe Jonathan Toews can play up there if you can't get a second-line center. The games I watched when Velarde was on that same line, Perfetti and JT were scoring. Also, I like the saying that Jim said about the milk drinkers, but we need more whiskey drinkers. Maybe a guy like JT Miller that is willing to fight harder, dig deeper, play a little dirtier to get those must-needed goals in big games. We also need to look for, last year, I would have never said this, but I believe we can use Stanley back. His newfound skill and willingness to punish a player for dirty hits or plays will help. Anyways, keep up the good work, boys. That one from Buck. So thanks a lot for that.
Thanks, Buck.
Thanks for that text, man. What do you think about that, Jim?
Well, I keep saying I don't think it's a simple fix, and I don't think it's something you can run back at all. Kevin Cheveldayoff has to fix this, but I think they need to go get a second line center. A winger is great. A winger I think you can get in free agency. But maybe not. Like, free agents just don't want to. But to me, how Kevin Cheveldayoff goes about this has to be a little bit different than he's gone about anything else. And that's, you're going to have some risks involved. Cam, the pushback I've had on the idea of getting Elias Pettersson here, like, people are like, that's asinine and blah, blah, blah. If you're going to eat that full $11 million, now, I don't think they will, because how do you tell the Mark Scheifele's of the world and the Josh Morrissey's of the world and the Connor Hellebuycks that this guy we just brought in is making more than you? Mm-hmm. But I've never bought into that. And the reason I haven't bought into that, I think it happens to an extent, but the reason I haven't bought into that is because over the years, players sort of go, you get what you get when you can get it. They don't sort of go here. Like, Mark Scheifele's not sitting here going, Kyle Connor makes 12, I make 8.5. He's sitting here going, at the time when I got my deal, this is what I got. Like, we're not in the days of Keith Tkachuk going, I want more money, when he's got money sitting on the table in a current deal. Yeah. That rarely happens that a player in this day and age goes, I'm holding out. When was the last time that happened? And, for how much? So
it's rare. It's rare now.
This goes back to the Jacob Trouba time when he held out. And when I talked to, like, the Blake Wheelers, the Mark the players that were close to him at the time, they all said you get what you get when you can get it. Mm-hmm. So I just think if you take some risk like that, but he's got to do the things that Buck was mentioning. He needs a winger, and he needs a second line center. And I would like him to add a depth D man that maybe a 3-4 guy that you can play 5-6, and then you're just deeper. But again, all back to the defensive style. And I know it sounds easy. I'm not trying to make it. There is work to be done here.
Yeah.
But I think it's work that can be done.
I think so too. 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. Let's take a break. Let's come back. On the other side, I pulled some stats, Jim.
Everybody loves
And there's
stats.
something about 2019. Something has happened that hasn't happened since 2019. I got two 2019 stats. And I'm throwing one at you.
I don't know it's ever happened that you lost a game when you won just because of your low shot total.
I don't know why everyone's bent out of shape about this.
I don't know why people are upset.
Montreal didn't win. Tampa did.
Montreal kind of embarrassing. I'm going to win a game with 9 shots.
We'll be right back.
The pot has been stirred.
Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they love.
Jets at noon.
This hour brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road and at washmethod.com. VIP text to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Boston Pizza for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. We're reheating Friday's mistakes.
Heat them up.
Texts, emails.
I'm taking one call today.
Yeah, we're taking
Ryan.
one call. Ryan wants to call the
Montreal
Habs fan.
Canadiens fan. You may call in, sir.
You may call. You can say whatever you want to me.
We have our pride,
Jim.
but we also understand when we were wrong. So you can call in.
You know what's the most impressive thing about the Habs? Is how young they are. All these other teams, they sort of have a mix of, and I'm not saying that there aren't some, like, there's Gallagher and Anderson and stuff like that, but how young they are is, to me, so impressive. And Nick Suzuki's been around the league a while. Cole Caulfield is, he's got a couple years under his belt. But like they're a really, really, really impressive young team.
Well, as I said, like 2 weeks ago now, I know we're having a lot of fun with the Habs fans and Ryan, at least you and I are having fun.
I'm having fun, yeah.
I really like them. Like they're built, they're going to be around. I just didn't think it would be this year, but this thing's happened, right?
Neither did I.
They happen a year earlier. They happen a year later than you think. But I really like this team. And their youth is what's going to, I mean, Patrick Laine, I don't even know if he's healthy or not. I see him around the team, and I know they told him he would not be playing again this year. But, like, they don't have room for him.
Well,
I mean, this speaks to how, well, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like Demidov and these young prospects, Yurkowski, all these guys, like they have, for the next 5 or 6 years, contract-wise, they are, and Dobis now has taken over. They have Fowler, the young rookie goalie in the A. Montebo has been injured, but you could very easily deal Montebo for something in the offseason.
Well, that's the thing is
and
like
go forward with these two goalies. Dome is the starter next year already.
yeah. I mean,
so Montebo's lost his job. And there are teams that, I mean, what would Edmonton give up for Sam Montebo?
Well, yeah, and the thing about Dobish is he's kind of come out of nowhere and he's totally rounded that lineup out.
Yeah.
Like he's taken them to the next level with the play that he's been able to.
And
bring
a lot
in.
of people are already throwing out the Patrick Waugh comparisons because I love it because like let's put a little bit of pressure on the kid. But I mean, like this is how sort of Waugh came in, right?
Yeah.
He came in, and even my father-in-law last night was texting because this reminds me of Patrick Waugh. They only have 4 shots on net, and they're winning the game. So. I just, again, we're having a lot of fun with the Habs fans, but I like the way they're built. I like the way they went through some dark times to get there, and I think they're sustainable. To me, this was new versus old, this whole series. Every game was a 1-goal game. It was hard fought. The other thing that I like about Montreal is all those things that Kucherov and some of the veterans and Hagel tried to get in their grills and get them off their games. Hagel even dropped Yurkowski, was it? Or who is the guy he dropped the first-round pick? In a fight, and yet they just kept getting up off the mat. Like, to me, this team plays like Martin St. Louis.
Well,
That's how St. Louis played. You could knock him down. You could beat him. He was just going to keep getting up and coming at you. And that's how the team plays. They've taken on the persona of Martin St. Louis, and they look really good for a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's the perfect coach for the group. I mean, that seems clearly. And all that still losing Game 7 to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
That's the one thing we don't know is how they get up off the mat after losing Game 7.
Yeah, it's difficult for them. Taylor sent this email, and it's a long one, but I'll put half of it, Taylor. Thanks for writing this whole thing in, but it's just we wanted to touch on some other topics, so don't take it personally. Taylor says, I wanted to share some reflections on the recent calls for the Jets to fire Kevin Cheveldayoff. Frankly, I believe those who want him gone are off base, including those that say players want to play in Winnipeg. A vast majority of players don't, unfortunately, and that is the truth, period. Kevin Cheveldayoff has done a remarkable job, even if it's one of the toughest roles in the NHL. The positives he's brought outweigh any negatives. And blowing up the team isn't the answer. We shouldn't be trading away the core yet. Instead, we should build around it, especially while time is on our side in regards to the core's age. I agree with that. As I said, we need to bring in the right players like Connor Dewar or players of that ilk while trading away the Nyquist or the Nemestikovs or those who aren't performing. We need real dogs on the Jets. It is true. We have soft players. We need guys who can compete and really grind.
You know, you've got to give up something to get something. And so if you could, and I haven't dove into this, we are going to do this month, is look at the lists of free agents and all this, but don't take me as these are the names I think you should get, but you could bring in potentially a Mason McTavish for a Cole Perfetti and a pick. You could maybe bring in Elias Pettersson if you want to eat the $11 million for nothing. Look, here's my point to this for everybody who's pushing back to me on Elias Pettersson. Say you go get him and all he does is score 40 points. Fair enough. You've lost the trade. But where else are you going to get a guy potentially to score 80 points a year as your second line center?
It's the sort of risk.
Like when I say McTavish, I think the upside is 60.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a big risk, and here's why I think Kevin Cheveldayoff has to start taking these risks is I think he'll get fired anyway. They're not going to not take risks or bring in some more Nemestikovs of the world who served the team very well for 2 or 3 years and then had a really bad year. But if you keep hammering these career players to come in as veterans at the end and hope to get a year or two out of them, it's time now. And this is the one thing that's always lost in Kevin Cheveldayoff. So when Atlanta came here, everybody was like, trade Mark Stewart, trade Chris Thorburn, and go get these high-end qualities. And he went through that phase. And he made trades to bring in Kyle Wellwood or sign Kyle Wellwood, or he brought in Eric Tulusky at the deadline and then let him walk in free agency. Then that era passed where they got good enough to make the playoffs against Anaheim in 2015, I think it was. Maurice comes in, evaluates it. They all sit down in the summer and he goes, we got to get faster. So then they start getting the drafts of who we got, the Ehlers, and then they start putting them in, and then it pays off to the point of 2018. So then the organization has an evolution to where it goes from 2018 to now, where the regular seasons get really well, exceptionally good, but yet the playoffs don't. They keep trying to figure that out. So now they're at that stage after 15 years, I believe, and it doesn't have anything to do with 15 years. It just has to do with how long it takes or the trajectory where you're at. But now I believe they're at that stage where the core is going to age out in 2 to 3 years, and you need to take some risks, and you need to take some gambles the kind of gambles that 2 years from now you might go, well, that got him fired. But you're going to get fired anyway if you just go out and get some more Nemestikovs, Niederreiters, and hope that they have career years.
Here's the reason why they also need to do that, Jim, was because of the exact same thing we've said so many times, that this team can't rebuild. If they age out their core and they just try to augment it for the next, 2, 3, 4 years, they're going to come to the point where it's going to be, the diminishing returns are going to be too severe.
They're not Montreal.
You're going to be faced with a rebuild. It's something that you unwillingly are going to walk yourself into. Now, there's probably people listening right now that think, they're in a rebuild right now. I gravely disagree with you.
They're in a retool.
That's why the Jets need to take risk, and now is the time to do it.
And for everybody who wants all these trades with the core, you can do that in 2 years.
Yeah.
You can take a 33-year-old Connor Hellebuyck, a 35-year-old Mark Scheifele, who's probably still going to put up 80 points, and move them to a contender where you get a good young prospect back, and maybe a pick, and you can do that. Now is not the time, but the time is coming real soon. And that's where they're at. And to your point of Winnipeg not being able to rebuild, I agree with that. They won the President's Trophy and couldn't sell at the building again this year. Mm-hmm. And it went to the second round last year. Now the season tickets went up, but the building was sold out, I think, a dozen times this year, maybe.
The crowds were not. It wasn't a major story.
Can do what Montreal did and still have sellouts. They can go through. Remember when Martin St. Louis came in? Oh. I mean, they can do that because Montreal fans are selling out this barn.
I know that.
Let alone their own barn, but Winnipeg can't do that. Winnipeg has to be a playoff team year in, year out in order to sell tickets.
Because of there was the initial, of course, honeymoon phase and all that, where people just wanted to go back and watch NHL hockey.
So you got to take some
we're
risks.
well past that. Yeah, they have
like
to.
I'm fully on board where, say they go get Elias Pettersson and sign Patrick Laine as a winger. And say they trade DeMello and Perfetti and get a top 4 D or another center. They bring it in and they don't make the playoffs. Okay. What's the alternative? You don't make those moves. You hope Niederreiter and Nemestikov have bounce back years. You hope Jagger's ready and Lambert can put up 60 points. Solomonson comes in and contributes 40. But if you don't make the playoffs, then it looks like you didn't try hard enough.
From the business side too, right? And this shouldn't be the driving force behind the decisions that are being made by the front office, right? They need to do what's best for the hockey on the ice.
Yeah.
But the Jets are in another situation where they have to sell this season to people, to get them to buy tickets, to be a part of that. Yeah. And so, listen.
Now, that's not Cheveldayoff's job.
No.
But Cheveldayoff's job is mixed in with it because we all know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
If they go sign line A and that's it, and then they go, we're going to try Morgan Barron at second line center, I'm immediately going to sit there like I did with Taves and go, if this doesn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, it could work, but if it doesn't work and it's Christmas time and you're 10 points out of the playoffs, people are going to get fired. And I know some fans don't believe that. I don't think the organization is that tone deaf, to be honest with you. I think Kevin Cheveldayoff knows exactly what he needs to do, and I know that he's at a point where not just for his job. I don't think he thinks that way. I think he looks at his core, and whether Connor Hellebuyck said that or not, Kevin Cheveldayoff sitting there right now going, I got to fix this. I got 2 to 3 years left with these guys, and then they're gone or aged out. So I got to fix it now. It doesn't matter what Hellebuyck said.
Yeah.
He's a smart enough hockey guy to go, I need to fix this year. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, Connor Hellebuyck's next post breakout is going to be like, I'm sorry, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
There are so many reasons why it has to happen this offseason.
So he doesn't need us to say it. He doesn't need the fans to say it with ticket sales. He's well aware of the situation. And it's going to take some work, but I think in order to get the work done, he's going to have to take some risks or more risks than he's had to in the past.
Alan texts the show on Friday, reading his take. He says this. He says, hi, Cam and Jim. FYI, over a 13-year span from 2011 to 2024, only 8 confirmed valid cases exist of NHL teams trading away a top 10 pick, well under 1 per year. The numbers make the pattern clear. Once a team knows it holds a top 10 selection, it almost never moves.
Yeah.
I know that that's true. But everybody's situation is totally different, right?
Well, let's just do this. I totally agree with that email.
Yeah,
that text. I agree with that.
Right. He's right.
Say the lottery's tomorrow, they get 8th or 7th. They stay at 7th. That's the best they do. Unless it's somebody like Robert Thomas, who's locked in and 28 years old, you don't move that pick. But if it is somebody like that, and that's why I think why it's been so rare, is it's never Robert Thomas. A number 1 center under contract at a really good salary never becomes available because it's more than the first round pick.
Yeah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but this is just me anecdotally, following the free. July 1st gets worse and worse every year. Yeah. Teams hold on to their players. It is like
because the cap's going up.
So Nick Ehlers becomes available on July 1st. Mitch Marner just before whenever there was a sign-in trade, so they can get that extra little bit. That if we go back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, July 1st was crazy for the free agency.
Mitch Marner's a prime example. Yeah. You're bang on. That guy could have got $14 million if he waited, but he wanted to go to Vegas.
That's right.
And he got 12. So make this happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's tampering and all that, but I'm pretty sure there's a conversation going, I'm going to Vegas. So Vegas said, I will pay you this to ensure that he doesn't, because Vegas is like, I know he wants to come here, or I think he wants to come here, but I don't want somebody to offer him $15 million. And he's like, I want to go to Vegas. So there goes free agency. And that's the problem with Winnipeg, right? Mm-hmm. Name me a free agent that's sitting there going, I want to go to Winnipeg. I want to play in the top 6. I love their power play. I can fix that. Got Connor Hellebuyck in net. Got Josh Morrissey there. Like Tyler Bertuzzi in Chicago. What do you think he re-signs there? I think he re-signs there. But if I'm Tyler Bertuzzi and I look at Chicago, you're 2 or 3 years away. I look at Winnipeg and I'm like, you mean I could play in that power play, play in that top 6. Maybe they want to move Velarde down and have me up with Scheifele and Connor for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
That's going to help me. I got Connor Hellebuyck in net. I'm in the same division. And if some people think Winnipeg's going nowhere in that division, where do they think Chicago's going?
Yeah.
So I would think that would be attractive to a guy like that, but I bet you it's not.
Miss your chance. Get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Brought to you by Boston Pizza. Coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15. Only at BP. Hey, I still promise that 2019 stat. Actually, I'm gonna tack on 2. I'll have 2 for you when we come back.
And just quickly, for everybody who says Laine's a terrible idea, then give me another idea of a guy that might come here that could put up 60.
Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
VIP text comes from Ann. Ann says, I think it should be more embarrassing to Tampa to lose a Game 7 with only 9 shots against. LOL.
It's a fair point.
Ann says, go Habs, go. Well,
who do you think it's more embarrassing who lost that game last night because of the 9 shots? Montreal, who did lose it, or Tampa Bay, who
won?
Who also lost it?
Who also lost that game? They both lost. So, anyways, thanks for that, and appreciate your you chiming in here. My 2 little 2019 stats. Only one team. So, for the first time since 2019, only one team from a no-tax state advanced to the second round of the playoffs.
Sorry, one more time.
For the first time since 2019, only one team from a no-tax state advanced to the second round of the playoffs.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a factor in where you sign.
Vegas is the only team,
yeah. It's a factor of where you sign, but it's not the end-all, be-all, right?
For the first time since 2019, a Florida team will not advance to the Stanley Cup final. Since 2019.
Yeah.
For the first time since the Kraken and the Mammoth have been in the league.
Yeah, it's not when I used to have this debate years ago about the tax-free states and the no taxes and all that. And I said it's a factor, and then you broke it down to you also pay taxes on the 41 road games. So it's only 41 home games you pay no taxes on. You still have to pay taxes. It's the weather, it's the team. Build a winner, they will come.
I think if Florida went back into obscurity and Tampa went back into obscurity, like they had been, Tampa really has been pretty good since its inception in some way or form. But Florida, if they went back into obscurity like they had for 20 years when I was growing up, I don't think players would be clamoring to go back there.
But here's the thing, Cam, too. Like, Dallas is full. Vegas is full. Tampa Bay and Florida are full. They're full of players. They have no more room. So then go get the leftovers.
Yeah, Vegas is full, too. And real quick, just want to mention this. Johnny says, hey, Cam, can you throw a shout-out to the Gabrielle Waugh High School badminton team for winning the provincial banner for single A, double A this past weekend, and to my daughter, Morgan, and her doubles partner, Sarah, for taking first place as well. Thank you. Johnny, I only doing that for you. I don't like to do shout-outs because then the show just becomes shout-out central because we get those every single day. But, Johnny, I'll do it for you there, man. So congratulations to your daughter. And you, too, for raising a champion.
A champion.
Yeah.
So congratulations on the ship, as the kids will say.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that one.
I don't either.
I hate that one.
Cheesy ship.
Way to win a ship? Like, come on.
A 14-year-old won one, and I said, hey, you got a ship? And he's like, hey.
No, it doesn't sound good. It's a championship. Just like it's
well said. It's a championship.
In championship, it's just take the extra time to relish the whole word.
Maybe some loser like LeBron in the NBA can call it a ship, but have some pride. It's a championship.
Thank you very much, Jerry Fortier, for producing the show. Jim Toth will take you all the way till 2 o'clock. That's it for me. Back same time tomorrow. See ya.